firstly about the motivation that you and your other co-founders, your 3 co-founders had, to start a business which, as you said, is still pre-revenue.
Yeah. All 3 of us co-founders actually spent a year in Silicon Valley, just fell in love with technology, and more importantly, how technology can actually make a huge impact worldwide. The second thing was, how can we now then use our love for technology to solve a meaningful problem? So one of those problems that we had was a personal problem, which was we had all these things that was at home unused, underused. Used to sell them on like old school platforms like forums and so on, but they're extremely difficult to sell on. And fell in love with the iPhone. Just figured like the iPhone can make it super simple, right? Snap this and sell. And that was truly the basis of the idea. We came out with that, eventually decided to do it full-time, built a prototype. People were telling us that they love it. It was a problem that resonated with a lot more people than just 3 of us. So it became Carousell.
So you built this out of your own need, something cool for you and your friends.
Yes.
And then it just rolled on from there? Or was that breakthrough the moment, the partnership?
When we started Carousell, most of our user base was really young, like 15 to 24 years old, predominantly female. And we served that market initially. And then eventually, once we got quite a bit of liquidity in that market, the network effects took off, and now in Singapore, it's become quite mainstream. The first 12 to 18 months of Carousell was actually quite hard. Like, we didn't get the growth numbers that we had. Growth was pretty flat. And the thing that kept us going was all the stories that we're hearing from the platform actually. And I had a personal experience quite early on in Carousell where I was selling my MacBook because I had replaced it with a MacBook Air, shiny and new. So I was asking the buyer, like, why are you buying my MacBook? And he says that he wanted to give his primary school daughter a chance to experience the internet, and he otherwise could not afford a brand new one. And so he had to turn to resale markets. So for me, that was quite a meaningful story because it means that we are creating a product that was a necessity for some people and enabling people in very interesting and meaningful ways.
Lots of young Asians will be watching this. Yeah. You're an Asian Unstoppable. Now, what are the 3 things you would tell them to inspire them, perhaps, to join you in that sort of journey, driven by your sense of mission?
Yeah, I think the first thing is, find your passion. Find something you're truly passionate about, because that's the one thing that's going to keep you going in hard times. And the second thing is, just do it. Don't think too much about it. There's honestly, doing this in the past 4 years, there's a lot of uncertainty, a lot of challenges, but the best thing you can do is just take the next step. Everything will figure itself out along the way. And I guess the third thing is, don't forget your purpose, right? As you're scaling this, you're going to have lots of distractions along the way, a lot of opportunities. And it's important to stay anchored to why you're doing whatever you're doing at that point and taking stock of that along the way.